Do not change the channel. Do not turn that dial. Do not flip on over to YouTube, Hulu, Disney Plus, Netflix, or anything like that, because it's the first edition of the American Lucha Wrestling Podcast coming at you live here. I'm Andrew Vendelis, play-by-play commentator, backstage correspondent. Call me whatever you want, but most importantly, I am a fan of professional wrestling, been so all my life. American Lucha Wrestling, without a doubt, the best, the top, number one promotion in all of North Carolina, and that, as my friend Adam Cole would say, is undisputed. Let's talk about some stuff with American Lucha Wrestling. Get right down to the nitty-gritty. Chris TNT Taylor versus John Evanz for the American Lucha Wrestling Championship. Happened just a couple of weeks ago in North Carolina, and I got to see the match. I got to call it. I won't give anything away. No spoilers here, unless it's already happened and been released online. But man, what a hell of a match. And I'm going to keep it brief. I'm going to keep it simple. If you like pure pro wrestling between two guys who absolutely want to beat the hell out of each other and be the best in this business, this match is for you. We saw this feud start at Rent Free in Your Head earlier in October, where John Evanz got to attack Chris TNT Taylor as he entered the arena, couldn't even make it into the arena, smashed his head into the back of his own car, hit him with the brick, stabbed him with the key. That is about as vile and vicious as you can get, John Evanz, you despicable bastard. But Chris TNT Taylor, arguably the fighting champion of American Lucha Wrestling, do yourself a favor, watch this hoss fight for the American Lucha Wrestling Championship when it comes out on YouTube. Myself on the call for it. Big shout out to everyone in production, Andrew, Jason Gallo. Doesn't matter who you are as long as you're contributing. I'd like to give you a thanks for helping American Lucha Wrestling succeed. But now I want to go and talk about the elephant in the room. You know it. I know it. If you're a North Carolina wrestling fan. CWF's message on their website. They gave out a thank you to the fans, the crew, everyone over the past 20 years. So they're going to try to get a new schedule up, they say. But for now, they're ceasing further events until further notice. Haven't heard anything from the promotion yet. And I'm going to leave it at this. I hate to see you leave, but I love to watch you go. Plenty of wrestling out there in North Carolina, but the best you're going to get, and I'm not bullshitting, the best you're going to get is American Lucha Wrestling. Chris TNT Taylor, skinny dudes with attitudes, Jay Malachi, those are just our champions. Might I not even get into Jay Malachi and his partner Jackson Drake, the wrestling prodigies. Three brothers, Drew Hood, Tommy Django, people like them. Ken Wolf showed up at Rent Free in Your Head and tore the damn house down. Jacob Ryan showing his true colors, aligning with the skinny dudes and attitudes, and Selena Rose. May I go on? American Lucha Wrestling, that's the best content you're going to get. But don't go away. We're going to be right back here on American Lucha Wrestling Podcast Edition 1 with a very special guest. Stay tuned. We're back here on the first ever American Lucha Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Vendelis, and I'm joined by someone very special, not just in the ALW family, but in North Carolina independent wrestling. Jason Gallo, the CEO of ALW, is joining me on the phone. Jason, how you doing?
Doing good. Hope you are, Andrew.
Yeah, man. Holidays coming up. Anything special?
No, just gonna eat with my family, man. Nothing special. How about you?
Nothing better than that, man. Family, food, football, but we're here to talk about some pro wrestling. I just got to finish the match with Chris and John Evanz, Chris TNT Taylor and John Evanz, which I talked about a little bit earlier on the podcast. How'd you think the match went, man?
Overall, I think it was a good match. Two big horses going at it, trying to settle the score. Definitely unfinished business from that match. We're going to have to run it again until we can get a conclusive ending to a match.
Oh, and you're talking about like just two competitors, two of our finest wrestlers, like really going at it. And I sensed there was a little bit of something personal in this match. You know, it was more than just for the title, as we saw, you know, at Rent Free in Your Head. John attacking Chris before he even got to the arena. Did you feel that sense of, this might be something a little personal going on in this fight?
Oh yeah, it's personal. Him hitting him with the brick and everything else. Things got real pretty quick between those two.
He took his title too, man.
Yeah, took his title, stabbed him with the key in the eye. Stuff was getting serious.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, the hottest feud right now, not only in ALW, but potentially all in North Carolina. Where would you love to see this head next?
I mean, I would like to see them either have some kind of conclusive winner, maybe a last man standing or a ladder or a cage, something where these two guys can get in there and settle the score once and for all. I know that I've talked to both of them, and they can't wait to get their hands on each other again. So I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely, man. I mean, I was in the arena for Rent Free in Your Head, and there was definitely, you could cut the tension with a knife in there. So around the world for ALW, what else you got going on that fans can look forward to in the next coming months?
There's some stuff going on behind the scenes, but I can't really give any definite answers right now about locations.
Yeah, I think you and I are both hush-hush about that one.
Hopefully.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think I speak on behalf of all of us, and correct me if I'm wrong there. I think American Lucha's got some pretty big things in store for the new year.
Yeah, 2020, we're looking to do a bunch of big things in 2020. Trying to get those growing pains out of the way in 2019. February is going to be the 1-year anniversary show. So we're going to have to do that one up pretty big and then see where the rest of 2020 takes us.
Yeah, man. You mentioned 1-year anniversary of the company. What's been your favorite moment so far? This is your baby, you and Andy's baby, and I'm just lucky to be a part of it, and especially getting your word out there, and because this is some damn fine pro wrestling that I've seen. I think this is one of the strongest rosters I've seen, at least in terms of the talent and the quality of matches. What though has been your favorite moment of American Lucha Wrestling as we reach 1 year?
I mean, there's been so many. Some of the guys, we just look at some of the guys we brought in our first year, like the Trey McGills and the Jordan Olivers. And, we've been trying to bring in this talent that we don't really see in North Carolina as often as you would, in other parts of the world. So it's just something I'm really proud of that we're going to build off of that. Of course, the focus is on building the young talent. The next generation. Not all these guys are getting signed everywhere. I'm proud of the young guys we're bringing in, the Jackson Drakes and the Malachi Jeffries, the Jake Malachis, the guys who are, the up-and-coming next generation in the Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, man.
That's something I'm really proud of is those young guys.
Yeah, and they're younger than both of us, and so I know I'm got plenty left to look forward to, but they're making me feel old out there with all that they're doing in the ring, and it's great to be a part of it. Jay Malachi, Lucha X champion, saw him getting a little bit of a tussle with Jacob Ryan as well. Anything more on that we can look forward to, do you think?
With the stroke coming together, I'm sure we'll hear more from him, and I'm sure that the three brothers are going to want to settle the score with them after what happened at Rent Free in Your Head between those two factions. And we got the Alpha Kent Wolf, who's another guy who's on the rise.
Man, Kent Wolf, dude.
I really think that he's got a bright future.
I got to watch his the main event match with him, and I got to see him in the Battle Royal as well. He is an exceptional athlete. What can you tell us more about Kent Wolf and what we can expect from him in American Lucha Wrestling?
I mean, sky's the limit for that kid. He just, he's starting to, like I say, he's one of those young guys. He's starting to put everything together now. And, 2020, if he keeps building, that could be a heck of a year for him. I'm looking forward to seeing his progression along, the wrestling prodigy, see what they're going to bring. Of course, we got the Skinny Dudes now as the tag team champ. They keep on building. I've noticed them getting booked at a lot of places and getting some high-profile matches. And I can announce one match we do have coming up for the 1-year anniversary show. It's on the books.
All right.
We're going to have the Wrestling Prodigies versus Gym Nasty Boys.
Wrestling prodigies versus them nasty boys. 2020 American Lucha Wrestling. You heard it here first.
One-year anniversary show. I've already got on the books for bringing in Timmy Lou and White Mike, the Gym Nasty Boys, going up against the hottest young tag team in the Mid-Atlantic, the Wrestling Talk. It's going to be a banger, man. That match is going to blow the roof off.
Without getting into any specifics, a little bit of real estate has opened up in North Carolina in recent weeks. I think we both agree that it's good for the business to, spread out and, get more companies, more talent booked everywhere. Do we think American Lucha Wrestling is going to stay central North Carolina, more towards Raleigh? Where can people expect to find you guys throughout the state?
It's like I said, there's a few things cooking behind the scenes.
Without giving it away, obviously.
There's opportunities throughout the state. The eastern part of the state has a lack of wrestling. The Triangle area is always, a good area to run, but there's so much other action going on as far as college sports that's a little tricky when you look stuff. But, it's just a matter of opportunity. We're in a situation right now where when the best deal comes forward and the best opportunity is the one we're going to take. Like I say, few irons in the fire right now. We just have to pick out the best deal for American Lucha movement.
And I have no doubt that you and Andrew will do whatever is best. Before I let you go, Jason, I know you're a busy man. I saw something on Twitter, and I addressed this earlier in the podcast as we get ready to wrap up here. What was your favorite memory in all of wrestling in the past decade? The year's coming to a close, man. We're going to have a lot to talk about, but what was your personal favorite moment in the 2010 to 2019 decade of pro wrestling?
I guess it's just got to be the rise of all these new big-time, like the AEWs and Master P buying House of Glory now, and just the opportunities for the independent wrestlers now to get signed with these companies. It's all happened in the past year, really, but, in the past 10 years, that's kind of the biggest thing that's happened. Is now it's not just WWE and TNA anymore. There's more opportunity than ever.
Yeah, man.
Professional wrestling.
And American Lucha Wrestling included, man.
Yeah.
Where can
I'll be AA, AAA ball for those boys any day of the week.
Hell yeah, man, dude. And it may be AAA, AA, but whatever you want to call it, we definitely have some A+ wrestling in American Lucha Wrestling. So where can?
Yep, and we're trying to build for the future. That's what it's all about. Is you gotta restock that pantry. You can't let it go bare. And that's where I feel like we really come in. Is we're trying to, there's great trainers out there like LeBron Cozone and guys all over the Mid-Atlantic that are trying to help with these young talents. And thanks to guys like that we're able to book these young guys who can come in and keep building for the future, so that way it doesn't die.
Yep, American Lucha Wrestling in 2020. We got a lot coming at you, including the match we just talked about, John Evanz versus Chris TNT Taylor for the American Lucha Wrestling Championship. Jason, it's a pleasure having you, man. Your first guest on the podcast, the first ever podcast, and hopefully the first of many that you stop by.
I appreciate it, Andrew. Anytime, man. It's an honor to be the first. Hopefully I won't be the last.
CEO of American Lucha Wrestling, Jason Gallo. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
All right, man. You too. Wow, what an interview, and that's all the time we have for the first ever American Lucha Wrestling podcast. You like what you saw? Have you seen any American Lucha Wrestling matches so far in North Carolina? You can check them out at twitter.com @Lucha American. American Lucha Wrestling can also be found on Facebook at facebook.com/American Lucha Wrestling. Go to their website, AmericanLuchaWrestling.com, for all the content. I'm Andrew Vendelis, and this has been it for the first ever edition of American Lucha Wrestling Podcast.